Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah.
Yes, I want to thank all of my subscribers. A special thanks to all of my new subscribers after my video came out. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the views. Thanks for all the likes, all the comments. I really appreciate it. Whether you agree on it or not, who's the real coward? I want to talk about Arthur Ozone Wallace, about him having a fair trial. Some people think he should have a fair trial. Some people don't think he should have a fair trial. I just want to talk about that part. He allegedly shot a police officer in the head. And some people don't think he should have a fair trial. Now, I just want to say this. I said I think he should. He deserves a fair trial. And some people out here thinking that he don't deserve a fair trial. And a lot of people over here think he should have a fair trial. He deserves a fair trial. Some people here don't think he should. Now, just because he allegedly shot a police officer, what gives him the right to not have a fair trial? I just want to say this. Anyone showing support for this man, or anyone just not really even showing support, it's just that think that he feared for his life. So let's forget about this police officer. This man, I want to say feared for his life because I don't really know what the story, what happened in the story as far as the shooting, what was the reason. But anyway, saying that he deserves a fair trial is not really supporting him. It's saying that everyone pretty much deserves a fair trial. So the thing is, you want him to have a fair trial. That doesn't mean that you wish bad on the police officer or wish the police officer was dead just because you want this man to have a fair trial that shot this police officer. It's not meaning that, hey, I want this police officer dead. I don't want this man to do any time. That's not saying you don't want him to do any time in jail for shooting a police officer. It's just saying that, hey, he deserves a fair trial. Like everyone else. Some of these police officers don't even go to trial. I want to first talk about that police officer who failed to protect that black woman. That one that had his gun down when the other man was behind the door with the gun pointing. This police officer had his gun at the ground, wasn't even ready to shoot. I'm just very curious. First of all, I'm curious to find out if he's still on the police force, because I'm quite sure they probably gave him his pink slips. They might have fired him. He probably didn't even get his pension. But I'm just curious to wonder if he still have his job. They didn't even say his name. I ain't see his face. I don't know if the man was white or Asian. I don't know. I guess the the department is just so embarrassed about that fool. They had to be embarrassed. That was not only embarrassing, that right there could have cost him his life. Like I said, that man could have came out there. We see the man was like walking like with a hunchback, like with the gun up there like this, like an old 90-year-old woman. He didn't even look aggressive. This police officer walked down the steps. This man could have shot him right in his dome. Like I said, could have shot him up. Went over there and shot her up. Went back down there to make sure his ass, this man put both of their lives in danger. But the thing is, I'm trying to talk about right now. I wonder if this was a good cop, because this police officer here, he wasn't trigger happy. And he might have been a good cop. I'm going to say Ben because he probably fired by now. But I don't know. We need, some good cops. But this one right here, he put her life in danger, as well as his. So I don't know.
Hey, my man, do not do that, my man.
Then a man emerged with a gun, and suddenly the woman was on her own.
In my video, Who's the Real Coward, I had some real good comments, real positive and everything. Everybody pretty much everyone was feeling it. And I had some real good comments. I think a lot of people can relate to what I was saying. But I had at least one person, and I could tell that person was pro-police. And this person was saying the coward is Otho Ozone, the black man who shot the police officer in the head, who was probably defending his life, in fear of his life. And, like I said, we didn't see the video. We didn't see the video of the shooting, you know what I mean? So people want to call this person anyway, want to call him a coward, not because, he didn't say it anyway, but the reason he called him a coward was because Otho had cut his locks off. And he didn't stand there and fight like a soldier with all the guns and the ammunition he had and all that old crazy mess. So that was the reason for calling him a coward. Instead of really saying one of these other police officers a coward. He wanted to say he's a coward because he cut his locks off, trying to disguise himself. So that was pretty much about it with that, I don't like to go back and forth with people on the internet about certain things. We all have our opinions, whether you agree with it or not. We can all agree to disagree and everything. But and especially on my video, I don't like to go too hard on people, if I don't agree with them. But I have to let them know, based on how it went down. Like I said, we can't call this man a coward because he shot a police officer. Police officers get away with murder all the time. Or even if they have a gun, just because the person have a gun, that don't mean you have to shoot them. You know what I'm saying? So some people, now if a person busts off on a cop, that's one thing, if they run it, they might have a gun, but if they bust off or if they point a gun at a cop, that's one thing. But if you running, if that person has a gun and the cop know he have a gun or whatever, you running, don't just shoot this man and say, okay, he got a gun, I'm gonna shoot him, boom. So, hey, just like the video I saw, the man running, he kind of looked back a little bit, I guess they want to try to justify it and say, well, he had a gun, so he looked back as if he might shoot the police officer. So my thing is, looking back, because he running, anybody would look back just to see, hey, how far the cop up on me, see if he still chasing me. I don't want to be running for nothing. So look back, just, kind of like look back for a split second to see if the man's still running. You know, the police officer still running behind them. You know, that don't mean you're going to shoot. But my thing is they just try to justify too much stuff. That's why I could never be pro-police.
Yeah, I'm threatening you. Yeah, I'm threatening you. Who you think you dealing with? They call me.
She plays, she plays, she plays.
This is what I want every black and brown person who's watching this video right here, especially if you're a black person. I have my reason for saying this, so just check me out. I want you to picture this. I'm gonna skip through a little bit, but let's just picture, okay, let's say you're a law-abiding citizen with no police record, nothing. Everything clean, good citizen. Okay, just picture this. Especially if you're a black or brown person. You're driving your car, in that car by yourself, driving. It's in broad daylight, ain't gotta be at night. You see it happen. Broad daylight, drive your car. Drive your car, get pulled over by the police. Lights flashing, pull over. Let's say you just take off running. Okay, you're a black person. Black man. Picture this. You're a black man running. Hey, you might just don't want to go to jail. Don't necessarily mean you got warrants or you did anything wrong. Find out it was a busted taillight. But hey, who want to go to jail? So you running. We've seen it happen before with Walter Scott. Okay, running. Broad daylight, shot in the back. 6 or 7 times. Could have been 8. But imagine this fool right here, this racist devil, being a police officer and you running. It might happen like Walter Scott.
November 1st, 2006, there was a call of an officer in trouble at 707 Walden.
That officer, Gregory Kwiatkowski, who was responding to a domestic dispute inside of that home between Neil Mack and his girlfriend. When Officer Cariel Horn went into the house, she says Mack had already been placed under arrest.
He was handcuffed in the front, and he was sideways and being punched in the face by Gregory Kwiatkowski.
Horn and about 10 other officers who arrived at the scene helped drag Mack out of the home, but once outside, Horn says Officer Kwiatkowski was out of control.
Gregory Kwiatkowski turned Neil Mack around and started choking him. So then I'm like, Greg, you're choking him, because I thought whatever happened in the house, he was still upset about. So when he didn't stop choking him, then I just grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck.
If that chokehold of a handcuffed suspect caught Horn off guard, it didn't prepare her for what she says Kwiatkowski did next.
He comes up and punches me in the face, and so I had to have my bridge replaced.
Horn says other officers pulled her back when she tried to defend herself. Following that incident, Horn was fired, charged with obstruction for jumping on Officer Kwiatkowski's back and or striking him with her hands. But Officer Kwiatkowski's own words seem to conflict with the charges. In sworn testimony, he says, she never got on top of me. Nonetheless, Horn lost every appeal, her 19-year career over, and she didn't qualify for a pension. The breadwinner for her 5 children, Horn, now a truck driver to make ends meet.
So what do you think, Cariel, should be done to, or happen to, officers who do not intervene?
Well, like I said, under Cariel's law, they would be prosecuted because you would have the duty to intervene. You cannot stand around and watch someone kill someone, watch someone die. You would have to intervene. And it would be a registry, so you can't go from department to department with a history of abuse.
Carriel's law will hopefully encourage officers to intervene when they see something that is wrong, that is unlawful, that is violating someone's rights. But we know that you can pass a law, but passing a law is very different than changing the culture. Do you think the law is enough? What else needs to be done so that officers feel brave enough to intervene when they see one of their colleagues doing the wrong thing?
I reacted by crying for 2 days because I knew that it didn't have to happen. I knew that in 2006 I had done the right thing, that it just was not being recognized. Not that they didn't know that I did the right thing, but because they didn't want to cross that thin blue line. Now, fast forward here to 2020 when it happened to George Floyd, that's when it came to light, where they said, why didn't those officers do anything? Well, those officers didn't do anything because they didn't want to cross that thin blue line. And, I just was thinking, I need to do something. They need to understand that I wrote this law in 2016 that should have been enacted. Well, actually, it shouldn't even have been a law. It shouldn't have had to be a law. But I wanted to find a solution that will force officers to have to intervene, because you have officers who do want to, but they're afraid to cross that thin blue line.
I got a call from dispatch. There was a woman on the phone who was frantic. She said she needs help now. As I turned onto the street, I see a black man standing outside of his car, and I tell him, I said, well, we got a call about a domestic out here. You want to tell me what's going on? He says, no, man, I don't want to talk. There's nothing going on. You can leave. So I'm trying to talk to him in a way that he will tell me, what's going on. And then as I'm running the trunk of his car, I see he's got his hands behind his back. So I ask him, I said, show me your hands. And he's backing away from me, and he says, no, man, I can't do that. And I see a silver pistol in his right hand. So I draw my weapon, and I tell him to drop the gun. He says, no, man, I don't want to do that, just shoot me. And I said, I'm not going to shoot you, brother, just put the gun down.
Try to do the right thing.
In my mind, I'm thinking, why is this happening this way? And then once he says, just shoot me, it's kind of like a click in your head, like, he's being suicidal. It was a matter of seconds between me initially coming into contact with him to when the other officers had arrived. The other officers get out of their vehicles, their weapons are drawn, and they're yelling, put down the gun, and then within seconds, as he's waving the weapon, one officer ended up firing 4 shots, and the last one hit the man in the head.
I want to run through this real quick and just talk about the police officers that was fired first. Stephen Matter, we knew he wasn't trigger happy. He wasn't quick to shoot the suspect. Matter of fact, he tried to negotiate with him so he could drop the gun. He was trained to do this type of thing. He didn't feel his life was in danger. So unfortunately, he lost his job because he didn't shoot. And luckily he won a lawsuit against the department. And Carriel Horn, she lost her job for doing the right thing, stopping a fellow officer from choking a man to death. And the thing is with this, she fought hard and long for her pension over a decade. And I really believe the only reason why she got her pension was because of George Floyd got killed. From doing the same thing that she tried to do, was intervene. Because these 3 police officers that was with Derek Chauvin didn't intervene to stop him from killing him. That's why she got her pension. After all those years. If the George Floyd thing would have never happened, he would have never got killed, he wouldn't have been a hashtag, this lady would have been still fighting for her pension. I guarantee that. But anyway, you know, you have good cops, you have bad cops. So, of course, these 2 were good cops. Among others, these just the 2 I can remember well. And I really believe it's more good cops out there. They just don't know what to do, as far as in the case when an officer might be choking a suspect. So they probably fear if they intervene, it's going to happen like Cariol Horn. You know, if they try to stop the officer from choking somebody, they might lose their job and their pension. So if they join in with the brutality, the choking, and kill the suspect, they take a chance on losing their job and possibly going to jail. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And as far as those 3 police officers with Derek Chauvin, of course he's a bad apple. And I really believe the Asian dude that was trying to keep everybody from coming over there, stopping them or whatever, he just, I don't know, something about him, I just believe he was a bad apple too. He just looked like a bad guy. Something about him, I don't know. But the other 2, I'm talking about the other 2. I want to say the other 2, I believe, could have been a good apples. They could have been good. I think one of them was on the force for just a few days. He was a rookie, just a few days. I think it was, I don't know his name. I really don't give a damn about him anyway, so. But I believe, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I believe they may have been good cops, but I think they would have been corrupted because of what Derek Chauvin was training them. So that wouldn't have worked out well. But anyway, just want to talk about that briefly. But like I said, I think those other 2 police officers, not the Asian guy, nothing against Asian, but I just think that man, I don't know, he should have been one of the ones that went over there and stopped it, Derek Chauvin for choking him. I can't give him the benefit of the doubt because he, of all people, those 2 officers, which one of them had him by the leg, I think the other one had him on the back, had the knee on the back. Then of course the knee to the neck.
It's not that there are a few bad apples, and then once the apples are bad apples are realized, they throw them out and they fix the bunch, right? No, there's actually a few good apples like Mater, and once they're discovered, they're immediately crushed and thrown away, okay?
When a police officer tries to do the right thing and report corruption and police brutality, don't fire them. Do the right thing. And don't let them have to be another Christopher Dorner.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah.